What's good, guys? It's TSG, and in today's video we have a huge update on staking V2. So IIP 18 has just been proposed, and we're just gonna have a look at it and go through it and just comb through some of the details. So having a look straight away, the first thing that I noticed was the end date being March 22nd. And I think that's an important thing to notice because it means that we have 3 days for this proposal to go through, which to me means if it does go through, which I think there is a high percentage chance that it will, we are going to be seeing V2 much sooner than we can think of. Considering we've got 3 days, if it gets approved, I think ideally in the next couple of days after that, we can start seeing it implemented. And then we have the 1 week upgrade time frame, and then everything. It just seems like everything is starting to roll now. And I'm just really excited to see staking up and live again so we can get our rewards and just let the market do its thing. So going straight into it, the simple summary, I'm not going to read everything. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase, but essentially the summary says that the goal for V2 is to deploy better contracts and more flexible contracts and a better overall user experience, which I think is super important because gas fees in V1 were quite high. Having to claim each individual pool, just things like that made things a bit less optimal for the user. So I'm glad that they're addressing that and they found a way to rectify those issues. So going down into the abstract portion, yeah, they addressed that, yeah, it's been a long delay and it's taken time to get here. And they also mentioned that they're being audited by the white hat Sam Cousin, that's what I'm going to say, 2 external audits, an internal audit. And it says that they're fully confident with this new contract and proposal. So I'm excited to see how it is in action so we can get our hands on it. One thing that is very, very important to look at is this right here. Upgrading to staking V2 will be mandatory as the upgrade requires the existing contracts to be deprecated. And what that means is for everyone that is staked right now in V1, whether you have an unlocked stake or a locked stake, you will need to upgrade that. If you do not upgrade that, you are not eligible for RevDes, you are not eligible for staking yield. So you do need to upgrade that to be part of that ecosystem still. Otherwise, it's kind of just sitting there and you're not getting anything out of it, which just doesn't make sense to do. They also say that the launch is going to be accompanied by articles, explainer videos, what staking V2 is, tutorials, just a lot of things. So we can expect a lot coming out from Illuvium in the next week. Explaining this. So it's everything that they kind of come out with, I will have a look at and try and break down for you guys in a simpler way if needed. All right, awesome. Yeah, so let's go down. Overview. It says the exact date to begin rewards will be specified before deployment, but should take no longer than 1 week, which, yeah, kind of tees up with what I said. It looks like everything is rolling now. So once these things start coming through, it looks like we're just going to keep going, and it's just a lot's going to be happening very, very soon. All right, so the next thing that they kind of go into is the upgrade process. And like they say it again, staking V1 users must upgrade to V2 before receiving yield. However, they can still upgrade after the window closes. So ideally, anyone that is staked should be upgrading in that window. Otherwise, you're wasting time because you're not going to be getting rewards if you're not upgraded. So if you wait a month to upgrade, that's a month you're not going to be getting rewards, which again, just seems like a waste. So get on top of it and make sure you can upgrade it as soon as you can. Maybe you want a time when gas is a bit lower, but try and get it within that window because you don't want to be missing out on rewards. And they go through all of the different deposits and things like that and what that means in V2. So I'm going to go through it really quickly. So flexible deposits don't count for yield. So flexible deposits are no longer a thing. You will need to lock it for a minimum of 1 month. That's the same for ILV and the liquidity pool. So flexible is no longer a thing in V2. The minimum lock is 1 month and the maximum is 12 months. And yeah, so you can see for essentially everything else, the locked and unlocked ILV and liquidity pool stakes all will be eligible for RevDes and staking rewards, staking yield, as long as they're upgraded. All right, so this is huge. So these are the main changes. And the first one is massive. Rewards claiming. Previously, every time you wanted to add a stake, you would be required to claim all of your rewards. So that would be if you were in the SLP pool and the ILV pool, you would have to go through 2 claims plus the actual stake, which was just a nightmare for gas. Whereas what they're doing now is you're able to add to your stake without having to claim your rewards, which is going to be awesome. So say you decided to stake twice in a week just because you kind of felt like it, and that the rewards hadn't grown so much and it's not worth you paying that gas to claim it, you no longer have to do that. You can kind of just leave it as it is, let it build, and just keep adding the stake as often as you want. The next thing that they mentioned is that they've made some fixes in gas optimizations. So again, V1 was quite expensive gas-wise. I can't say how well they've optimized it, but it is something to look forward to, that yes, we won't be paying as much as we were before. How much of a difference that is, that's hard to say. We'll only be able to see it when we actually get our hands on it. Another point that they go into, and I think it's a very important point for just the future of Illuvium as a whole, is this here, the upgradability. So it says that staking V2, they've kind of put it in the contracts to make it upgradable in the future, so they don't have to do a whole overhaul like they've had to do here. So in the future, if there are things that we want to adjust in the contract, that can be done through IIPs and not having to pause the whole thing, rework the whole thing. They have kind of made these upgradable slots where you can just do that in a much easier and more accessible way, just so it's easier for the team and also just a more pleasant experience for us as stakers and users in general. Like I said, they kind of mentioned here, flexible staking is removed. So the reason that they've done this is to detract bad actors trying to frontline revenue distribution. For example, say they know the land sale is coming up, they can put it in for 2 weeks and then get that rev and bounce. So they're trying to take that away by taking away the flexible staking, which I think is a great idea. I think a 1 month minimum is fine. So even if you want to front run it with a 1 month stake, because your weight is going to be much lower, you're not going to get too much. Like the longer stakes, the higher weight stakers are still going to get the majority of that revenue. And yeah, so they go into the rationale, again, just talking about how they're trying to optimize the gas, make it a better experience for users, and just to kind of set themselves up as a whole for future upgrades, things like that. I'm not going to read too much into it, and they've got some definitions about what a lock deposit is. You guys can have a look at that. So currently at the time of this recording, no one has voted, approved or declined. So it is still up in the air, but the consensus is looking very positive, and it does look like it will go through, and staking V2 is finally going to be here. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked the video. I'm actually enjoying going through these IIPs with you guys. It gives me a chance to really go through it and share it with you guys as well. So if you guys liked it, found it informative, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, hit the notification, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.